So I was browsing Reddit, and I found this comment which says, "Hey, do you have any tips on how to write a book?" And Appa replied, "Write a story about a talking donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster who rob a house from a band of robbers." And that's exactly what we did. We're making an animated movie, so let's start with our characters. First, we've got to design our donkey. Now, if you watch our series, you'll know that we love realism, but this is a fairy tale, so we're going for something a little stylized. There's a nice balance between realism and cartoony that I think works well here. Also, the donkey is our protagonist. He's going on a journey and is seeking something new. So he needs to feel heroic, which is why he has a strong jawline and big eyes. Next is the dog. He's older and wiser than the donkey, so we're giving him more pronounced wrinkles around the eyes and ears. We'll call him a bloodhound, which will explain his droopy eyes later on. Next, the cat. She's sleek and cool and probably knows some stuff about surviving in the world. Finally, the rooster, very colorful, very proud, maybe a little bossy. Now, since this is a musical, we've got to imagine what instruments they might play. The donkey is the leader, so he should have a large instrument, like a bass. Also, the fact that it's double bass makes sense given that he is double the size of the others. The dog would be the drummer, and we imagine a setup where he could lay down and play. The cat seems like she'd enjoy playing a stringed instrument, specifically a violin. As for the rooster, nothing screams, "I'm going to sing louder than a trombone." Our world is inspired by European fairy tales, so the scenery is heavily forested with a lot of stone elements. As the donkey leaves his farm, we want to show just how much he's carrying, so we're going to use exaggerated proportions. In order to communicate that the weight of his burden is slowly crushing his spirit, the camera will stay low to the ground, showing the sky getting smaller and smaller as the donkey gets lower and lower. When the donkey meets the dog, we want the dog to be smaller and weaker than the donkey, but still carry his own load. To show the difference in body type, we're having the dog stand on his hind legs. And finally, we'll show the dog lifting his head up with newfound determination after hearing the donkey's plans. We meet the cat sitting on a fence. Notice how her body follows the shape of the fence itself. We want to communicate that she feels like she's trapped and doesn't have any freedom. The cat is portrayed as more sly and cunning. So instead of showing her front paws gripping the fence, we'll focus on her back legs and claws digging in. Finally, we have the rooster, and we're going to make him as tall as the fence he's standing on, putting him above the viewer's eye level. We want to make the audience feel like he is this grand character whose fate is about to change. Now that the four protagonists are established, we can introduce our villains. The robbers are a rough bunch, and we're going to design them with darker skin and sharp features. Since they're supposed to be scary, they naturally going to block the light, and they not going to stand directly in front of it. Also, since they're blocking the light, the only thing illuminating them is our flashlight, which represents the view of the protagonist. Now the house they live in is dilapidated and dark. The camera will move quickly through the windows to establish that there are 4 of them. We're going to emphasize the fact that they human versus animal by portraying their hands and fingers. The fact that they're clenching their fists will establish that they're tense and ready to fight. The climax of the film is the animals stacking on top of each other to scare the robbers out of the house. The key to pulling this off is to exaggerate the size difference between the animals and the humans. The donkey is huge compared to the cat and the dog, so he's going to tower over the robbers. The dog is bigger than the cat, so he's next. Finally, the cat is the smallest, so he goes on top. As the rooster joins the group, the camera has to travel quite a distance to take it all in. In the end, the animals will be resting inside the house. Since the camera has now moved inside, we can show them in a more natural setting, curled up with each other. The lighting will be warm and inviting, and we'll include detailed shots of their facial expressions to solidify that they are, in fact, smiling. And that's it. We finish animating. It's a long way to go from script to screen. There's lots of planning, designing, scripting, recording, editing, animating, compositing, mixing, mastering, you name it. That's why you should consider subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you get access to our server, which is full of interesting people who love animation and movies. It's also a great place to hang out or chat.